What's happening, everybody? Matt here, but you can call me Matub, and welcome to Hottest Take of the Week, show where I look at dumb stuff on the internet and we talk about it. Last week, I said some things about the wide receivers and the lack thereof, and then Aaron Rodgers threw 20 passes to tight ends and running backs. Big Bob Tonyan had his breakout game. In fact, the media and Aaron Rodgers himself referred to him as Big Bob Tonyan. It's a good day to be Packer fan. It's a good day for the NFL. I'm loving this season so far. Now, with that said, last week I did say that the Packers offense would eventually get figured out, and I do still stand by that. I think it's going to happen. Last week I used Mark Trestman as a comparison, and I don't think that was terribly fair looking back. Mark Trestman, according to inside sources, was just kind of dumb. So let's look at someone who's another wunderkind, like Sean McVay. Sean McVay took a pretty terrible quarterback to the Super Bowl and just got pounded. But every year since then, the Rams have been doing worse and worse. Now, is that offensively because of Sean McVay's system being figured out? Or is it because Jared Goff is terrible? Is it a mixture of all those things? Who knows? But I'm just saying, I worry about a day when the Packers team is going to get their own ass handed to them, and then I'm going to get yelled at for saying I told you so. That's it. That's all of the take a wide receiver people, all of the people who speak skeptically on the team are not out here to ruin your fun. We're having fun too. It's awesome. I am enjoying the crap out of watching 30-plus point games over and over again. What we're worried about is it ending. We don't want that to end. That's it. It's not, the team is awful or whatever. No, when you're skeptical about something that you love, it's coming from a place of constructive criticism. No one is out here saying that the Packers are terrible because they didn't draft a wide receiver. And the fact that we have to even talk about this anymore, it's funny to me that this was the week of let's stop talking about the wide receiver draft. And then The Ringer put out a great article about how the wide receivers are already living up to the hype of the draft. And people are still fighting on Twitter and in articles about whether or not you can speak on this topic. And if everyone wants it to end, just stop talking about it. But you know what? I'm not going to stop talking about it because I still think, and I'm going to go to my grave saying this, they should have drafted a wide receiver. Now, with that said, I was skeptical of the team last week. 2 weeks ago, I was skeptical of Taysom Hill. I received merciless hate for my skepticism of Taysom Hill. I've received minimal hate for my skepticism of the team. So I don't know if I just haven't pissed off the right people this week, but there are very few people in my mentions about my video last week. So, I don't know. I guess I got to really make someone mad this week. So something that would be very, very easy to do is for me to just go back to every Tuesday where Aaron Rodgers is on Pat McAfee and talk about that. And that could be my video every week. I could honestly dissect Rodgers' segment on that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to become the guy who reacts to Pat McAfee. However, this week there's some very good content and some very good takes in there. For example, to support my own issues, Aaron Rodgers listed off his receiving core for the game against the Falcons and then finished with, what was the exact quote? Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainties. He goes Darius Shepard, who's only had one catch, and then you had guys coming up like Reggie Begelton and Malik Taylor getting their first reps, and then you've got Big Bobby Tonyan, as he called him, who didn't do a whole lot last year, didn't have a lot of opportunities. And he goes, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainties there. I love Aaron Rodgers in this non-media appearance level of interviewing because it's so natural and it's so unforced. I understand people are using this as a reason to go after the beat writers. Look, man, you've got plenty of reasons to go after the beat writers. I list that crap all the damn time. But just because Pat McAfee goes, oh, well, what about Rob Demovsky? Don't go after Demovsky for that. Go after Demovsky because he says stupid things. Go after Demovsky over the DVOA and I don't want to learn stuff. At him about that. Don't at him about he wrote an article with a headline that you didn't like. Aaron even says it himself, that the media is out there for the clicks. You know what? Clicks pay the bills. And I was just lecturing someone about this not too long ago. And you know what? In this, Aaron even mentions it. There is a feedback loop built into just about every content serving algorithm. If you leave a hate comment on something, that platform is going to continue to feed you that content in hopes that you are going to interact with it. Because internet loves interaction. If you interact with an article or a video, there is a really good chance that you are engaged enough to see an ad. And that ad is going to work, or it's going to actually be in front of your eyes and not ignored. So you live in this constant feedback loop, being fed the same content for you to react to over and over again. It's the same reason that, okay, so I'm big into powerlifting. On Instagram, there's this guy named Dr. Joel Seedman who tells you to do really stupid things. And his comments are just full of people going, what in the hell is wrong with you? You know why? Because those people comment. And then those people go to their Explore page and they see his crap more often. So I guess my overarching point is, if you're really pissed off at the beat, stop clicking on their articles. Don't at them on Twitter. At me on Twitter. I'm a Twitter idiot. Just come after me. Who gives a shit? A lot of the hot takes this week surround something that Aaron Rodgers said during the Pat McAfee interview. And it was all about being taken out of context. Last week he had made a joke about pretending that his helmet speaker wasn't working so that he could call the plays. But this was immediately after talking about how him and LaFleur's relationship was so good. And he was joking. And people took that little soundbite and ran with it. And this week, Aaron was like, yeah, that's going to happen. Whatever. But the big soundbite that's coming out of this week's is not, I wouldn't even say it's being taken out of context, because he said it and he meant it. However, people are taking it the wrong way. Last couple years, Aaron Rodgers has been having down years. He hasn't been playing like Aaron Rodgers, as we have all come to know and love. There's been some inconsistencies. There's been some weirdness with his mechanics. I can beat that horse to death. However, the quote from Aaron was that a down year for him is very much a career year for many other quarterbacks. And people are going off about this. Aaron is such an egotistical asshole. How dare he say these things? The whole context of this was McAfee brought up that last year there was some talking head TV show that said that they would take Ryan Tannehill over Aaron Rodgers. So let's look at Aaron Rodgers in a down year versus Ryan Tannehill. To the stats. Woo! Okay, so last year, Aaron Rodgers played in 16 games, went 13-3, threw for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I wouldn't exactly call that a down year for a lot of people. Year before that, when they went 6-9-1, Aaron Rodgers played in all 16 games, threw for 4,442 yards with 25 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. He had a 62.3 completion percentage, and he had an NEA of 6.96 yards. So, not a great Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' NEA over his career is 7.35, and this year he's at 10.13. Holy wah. Through 4 games, that's amazing. He's thrown for 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. Aaron Rodgers is back. I'm going to close my blinds. Ka-chow! Oh, man, that's so much better. So we can comfortably say that Aaron Rodgers is back. It's fun. But let's look back on that. Would you take Ryan Tannehill over Aaron Rodgers? So let's look and see what Ryan Tannehill's doing. Did you guys know that Ryan Tannehill is 32 years old and has been in the league since 2012? Did you suddenly just feel really old out of nowhere? Because I just did. Wow. Okay, so the Titans are currently 3-0. Besides all the other stuff that they're probably going to get in trouble for. Tannehill's thrown for 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he's actually doing pretty good. He's got 809 yards. So he's doing pretty friggin' well this year. So let's look at Ryan Tannehill's last 16-game season, which was in 2015. 2015, Tannehill threw for 4,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Wow. Let's look at his best NEA season. He made the Pro Bowl last year after only starting 10 games. In those 10 games, he threw for 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and an NEA of 8.52. So yeah, that was a pretty freaking good year for Tannehill last year. In a small sample size. Let that be noted. So when you look at Tannehill's second best season, so last year was obviously his best season. It was his comeback year. Everyone's like, oh, he's in a new offense. It's going to be great. So look at Tannehill's best year in Miami. We could call that, we'll say 2016. 2016, he played 13 games, threw for just about 3,000 yards with 19 touchdowns and 12 interceptions with a 6.27 NEA. So prior to his outlier year, his first year in Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill has been a okay quarterback. A lot of people like to talk about the Andy Dalton line. If you are as good or better than Andy Dalton, you are good enough to be a starter in the NFL. Ryan Tannehill was right at the Dalton line. So in response to that, Aaron Rodgers said, look at my down years, and they are career years for other people. I'm specifically looking at Ryan Tannehill because he's mentioned before. But yeah, Aaron's not being egotistical. He is just right. Sorry. That's the facts. If you want to go after him for being egotistical, go after other stuff. Go after him talking about his diet and his yoga and his squat rack and all that crap. Go after that stuff. He was telling the truth. Oh, another thing that I want to bring up. The Packers are on a bye week this week, but then they're going to be going against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers happen to be quarterbacked by Tom Brady, someone who people think is the greatest of all time. I personally don't know. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are not going to be playing against each other. Aaron's going to be playing against the Tampa Bay defense, who's probably the best defense that they've gone against so far. Tom Brady's going to be playing against the Packers defense. Aaron is not going to be playing like a 4-3 end and going after Tom Brady. They're not playing against each other. Stop saying that. Speaking of Tom Brady, I brought this point up with Peter Bukowski the other day. Tom Brady screams at his teammates and he's passionate. Aaron Rodgers says sort of nice things in the press, and he's not being nice enough. Could you imagine if Aaron screamed at his teammates the way Tom does? Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers knocked up his girlfriend and then left her for a model? Oh, buddy. I don't see any hot takes about Tom Brady being an asshole for that. Well, that's going to do it for me, guys. As always, I'm Matt, but you can call me Matub. Enjoy the bye week. Do some self-film study. Watch some movies. Read a book. Do whatever. Go for a jog. It is 82 degrees today in Colorado. It's friggin' mid-October. Look at all the October crap that my wife put out. It's 82. Yeah, anyway. As always, I'm Matt, but you can call me Matub. Go, Pack, go.